Hi, Professor Bolt here with our Week 9 video. I'm going to start with just a few comments on the midterm. So actually the midterm, people did quite well. A number of people ended up after curving having the maximum allowable points. The midterm itself was out of 110. I did that because I know that some of the questions will be a little bit more difficult, but the highest score on raw points was 100. Which was actually very good. The exam was close to what I expected. I designed it with 110 with the goal of the average being around 85, and the average was just 85.5, so very close. So overall, most people did quite well. The answers to the questions you can sort of see between today, so I've posted them now, and you can see them through Wednesday, so you can get a feel for what you did. I tried to use, this is the first time I tried to use short answer and have Canvas auto-correct it, except for the MBTI question. It didn't have a clue how to grade them, so I had to grade them all by hand. It took me a little bit longer. And then the essays, obviously, I graded. So that's why I told you not to freak out if you saw a score. I don't know if you saw a score when you did the test, because it can't grade more than half the test, or around half the test. So I took the practice of midterm, for which everyone actually got most of the points. You got the points for doing it on time. So if you did that on time, you got all the points. If you were a day or two late, then I took up a point or two for that. And so that went into the overall score. So you'll see your there's an assignment called, let's go back to the assignments. Curved midterm. So if you go to the curved midterm, here you will see your curved score. The curve was very minimal because the mean was what I expected, and the only thing the curve would have done if I tried to be more aggressive would have been to penalize people who were very at the bottom end, because there were a few people who did not do well. For those of you who did not do well, right, this class, there's a lot of terminology, but it shouldn't have been that hard. I do recommend you go through the corrected answers so you can sort of get a feel for. I try to be pretty generous in terms of giving people points for even reasonable partial answers, but there were times when the answers just, I couldn't give you any points for it. So, okay, so next thing. So for this week, there is no new content. I'm not having another chapter in the video. There'll be another chapter and another video content for next week. But this week, you're going to all be working on your proposal. So I've done the proposal assignment teams. And so we have the teams here. Let's see if we can get them all on the screen once. So here we have all the teams. So everyone's been assigned to a team. Almost everybody got assigned to a team with whatever their preference of at least 80, 85. The majority of the class actually had something over 95 in terms of their preference scores. So most of you seem to assigned to a project that you seem to have most interest in. The roles, however, people made up all kinds of roles. Everyone's role everyone will actually have two roles. You will all be doing a writing role because this is a writing class. So you might have a secondary role if you're going to do some of the graphics and whatever, but everyone's got to be writing something because we want to see you as part of the team writing. You can't just be a project manager or a facilitator or a reviewer. Those are not acceptable roles for your only role in this class. So, and the people signed up for those kinds of roles. That's okay, right? I'm not honoring any of the roles you asked for. I wanted to sort of see what you were thinking about and also see a little bit about what the chapter reading on the roles and assignments were. So these are your teams. They're actually going to show up in 3 different places. So here I'm actually on the People's tab, which looks like it's hidden. I'll make sure it's released in a second. So there you can always go back and see where your team are, and I will be using group assignments for various places. Your teams also show up if you click on Teams Class, which I just did. All right, that will take us to the MS. Actually, I'll just go over here. Already open. So inside, there's now a Microsoft team set up for this class where I assigned each of the teams. I see all the teams because I'm the instructor, and Lise, who's our grader, will see them. But you each will only see, they're locked. You can only get into your team, and you'll see where these are going to be used in just a second. Within the Microsoft Teams, there's posts, so here's a place for you to start chatting and have a conversation. Your team can choose to click over here and have a video chat meeting, which is fine. If you do a video chat meeting for the assignment, make sure you record it and get a transcript because that'll help us when we go to look at the grading. And there's a place for your team to have files. And you're going to be able to upload files here. So I can, oops, not a tab. I want to upload a file. So I should be able to just file. I'll make sure that you can add. I can add, but I'm trying to view it differently. So maybe I'll have to check that. Okay, so now let's get to the assignments that are going to actually be using this. So your assignments for this week are to team brainstorming and then the actual Racky. So, nope, not this one. I deleted that one. Assignments. Oh, here we go. Same tab. Proposal, kickoff, teaming. So here's your first assignment. So there's actually 2 assignments to do this week. They're actually extremely related, but I'm doing them because the first part I want you to upload separately as individuals before you get taking part in the MS Teams discussion. So your team assignments have been made. And the idea here is you're going to have 2 parts. The first is brainstorming for your project. And I want each team member to do some brainstorming and come up with some role and assignment ideas individually, and then start taking part in a team. Again, this is just good brainstorming practice from Innovation 1010. So this week you're going to brainstorm ideas for your team's proposals. I expect everyone to participate in this discussion and in the actual brainstorming. So unlike the past discussion boards where you had like 1 or 2 posts, I expect this to be very lively. That's why I made it a Microsoft Teams chat, so that it's not like a post and then go back. You should get notified. You should be on your team chatting regularly. I do recommend your team get together in person as a video, or at least be very active all online at the same time so you can get a more efficient brainstorming. It's very slow if you post once and wait 4 hours. So, but if you do the video, make sure you record it and have a transcript. Again, you can set that up as defaults if you want for your team. So your grade here depends you to have read the original proposal material, right, and generate some initial ideas as part of your initial post. That's what you're actually going to be posting here is your initial post. And I want you to do that before being influenced by others. But your grade for this assignment will depend on both what you upload and then what you contribute during the online brainstorming sessions. So here you're going to upload your initial brainstorming and your initial suggestions of roles. So the teams are again listed right down here. So you have to think of what are the different roles and what are the different tasks. Part of a Racky, if you remember, is not just the roles and who's assigned what, but what are the tasks. Racky is an assignment of role to task, and so you can have somebody who's a little bit more on the business side, somebody who's on the technical side, whatever you're working on come up with, you think the tasks are for that proposal, and then make that list of tasks and a list of people, and you can have some suggestions to go through that. The Racky assignment, so you're going to upload here these initial ideas. Then your team is going to actually have an online discussion. So you take part in that discussion, and that should go on for a long period. Oh, forgot to mention, the upload for this, come on, scroll down, is October 18th, which is Wednesday. I want to get your initial ideas out there early. Like any good discussion, you got to get started, and I want you to have this uploaded early, so that'll force you to have some of the discussion ongoing. Then by Saturday, your team is going to have the second part, which is Rackies and schedules. And so this part you're going to go through and you're going to do 2 Rackies, 2 schedules. And the reason for this is you're doing one for the proposal effort. I want your team to think about who's doing what roles on the proposal effort and the schedule that's going to go along with trying to get that done over the next month. And then you will actually have a second Racky matrix and a second list of tasks, which are the actual project. So if you're in the AISL project, right, where you're doing citizen science, you're going to have some schedule and some list of tasks you expect to happen for that project. If you're doing the STEM scholarship, there's some things that happen in the project. Whatever the project is, you're going to have a list of here are the things we're going to do, and here are the roles. You don't have to have the people, you don't have the names. Role to assignment is actually role, not necessarily person. And then as you go through that, you're going to fill out 2 schedules and 2 Racky matrices. Your proposal schedule should cover the next month and include enumerated milestones for the proposal. One of those will be budgeting. Budgeting will be the topic of next week's video and stuff. So you can add that to the proposal schedule. But I want you to think back on past assignments. We've already covered all of the stuff you need to go through this for the proposal part, right? Identify and add other steps you need to the proposal deadline, right? If you read the RFP, if you think about what you're using your proposal template, you can say, here are the priority tasks that have to happen. Well, that gives you the beginning of your Iraqi matrix because you have all the tasks. Then you can go through that and you can assign roles for the proposal tasks to actual individuals on your team. With respect to reviewing, it should be on here someplace. I'll make sure I go back and add it if not. You can have roles, so everyone, let's make it right here, right? Everyone must have a writing role, no exceptions. You can have some other roles, and so you can trade off smaller writing roles if they're doing graphics or some management, but everyone's got to write because this is a writing class. You can have placeholders for the red team review, so pretty much you can have a review team, but you will not be doing your own review team. You want to have an internal review, that's great. Red team review, again, you pull in people from outside who have not seen the proposal, and we'll be assigning that later. Probably in 2 weeks, I'll start assigning the red team review stuff. They will come from outside your team, but there's like, for each of the 3 projects, there are 2 teams sort of competing on proposals. One of the reasons I wanted to have your discussions not in a discussion board and Canvas is that it's easier for me to have more lively discussions, but also to separate your teams into non-overlapping things so you can't see each other's things. I want you to have original ideas as you go through this. In two weeks when we get to review, obviously you'll start seeing each other's ideas, but I want the first week or two to be nice, clean brainstorming and idea generation so that you're not influenced by the others. Okay, so you're going to come up with a project schedule as well. So the project schedule is during the implementation, what are the tasks that have to happen to implement the ideas you have, and what are the roles that have to happen? So you're going to come up with a separate matrix for that. And you're going to lay out the basic structure and roles that will be needed to implement your ideas. And when we talked about proposals, this to me is one of the first 2 things I do is I think about what are the tasks I want to accomplish, and the second thing is the budget. And those 2 can't be done completely separately. Normally I do them pretty much simultaneously, but we'll do some initial tasks, then next week we'll do budget, and then we'll be able to refine what we can afford to do. So we got to figure out what those 2 things are. So the deliverables for this assignment is you submit 1 document with a schedule and Iraqi matrix for the proposal, as well as a Iraqi matrix for the project, and with the schedule to go with it. That's presuming the proposal is funded. You can find out like the length and stuff from reading your RFPs. So you're going to be great on this, and I'm not looking, although you're going to have a lot of possible discussions in your brainstorming, and you'll get some points for just that. I'm also going to be looking for this to be clear and concise. Again, a short, it's like here's the Iraqi matrix, here's the main task you have to get. We want to see that you have a schedule that's chronological, you put things in, you understand the sequence that has to happen. I want to see complete and really reasonably thorough schedule and role assignments of the tasks. I guess there should be task listed as well. I'll update that. It's a document, so we still want it to be visually appealing. Imagine you're actually going to give this to upper management as part of an internal proposal effort, which is common in places I've been. And then you want to have it to be easy to follow and understand because, management's not going to spend a lot of time. They got to get there. And on this document, I do want you to make sure you capture spelling and grammar. Some of you have been struggling in the last couple of assignments, and I have not pushed on that. But despite the fact that spelling and grammar aren't important to me, they're important to lots of people. So you just need to learn to, okay, before I turn in a document for something, I'm going to run through spell checking and go do Grammarly or whatever else, right? So your 2 schedules in Iraqi matrix, and if you want to do a team charter, you're welcome to. You should at least discuss a bunch of those issues among your team. Team grades in this class will not be uniform, and so the charter can help resolve some of those things. And the Iraqi matrix is also like if people are designated to do things and they don't do it, the whole team doesn't suffer; they suffer. That's part of why we want a responsibility matrix. So grades for this will be individual based on what we see in your MS Team chat and video, even though the team as a whole uploads only 1 document. So this is a straightforward upload 1 set of documents. And I want you to see, and it should be in here, laid out someplace, I want these documents to be documents that you add within your team's document as well, so that all your team can see it and know what's going on. So what's here and what's in team should be the same, but only one person on the team has to go in and upload stuff. So that should be plenty of work for this week. You should each have the links to the various NSF proposals for the teams you've been assigned to. Just to make it a little bit easier, I'll go back and I'll put those back in the I'll put those in the teams so that you don't have to dig very far. The links will be in with the team assignment back on the other page. So, okay. If you have any questions on your midterm, I did grade the midterm myself. So if you're having any questions on that, contact me. Last week's assignment, which maybe it was 2 weeks ago, assignment, right? There are some students who are not capturing all you need to capture on the assignments. So if you want to resubmit almost any assignment to get more points, you're not going to get all the points back, depending how far back you were. But if you were told that there are a lot of people for their stories, the stories were just all over the place, they're being graded by Elise, so she can give you some feedback. For so many of these, she and I discussed what's going to happen. But if you're not sure why points were taken off, you can ask her. If it was one of the assignments she graded, you can tell because the comments you get come from either her or me, and that should give you a feel for what's going on. So, but you can get back lots of points if you're missing stuff, and some of you have a gap to fill, especially after the midterm. You might want to go back and try and get some extra points.